sorry about that, guys. Halloween, so I figured, you know, dress up in my best Jason Voorhees cosplay, of course, or costume, whether if you want to go. Since it's Halloween, though, since I'm here, let's do a little bit of a special Freaky Figure Review Friday, or in this case, a Freaky Sunday figure review, if you will. So, today, we'll be taking a look at the new NECA Jason from Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Everybody, as I kind of wanted to say, as I said with the Kong review, you expect to see something a little extra for Figure Review Friday, or as I should call it, Sunday Freaky Figure Review. Of course, we'll be taking a look at the brand new NECA Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood Jason. So this is their first new Jason since, or Friday the 13th figure since, I think the Roy Burns that came out, I want to say 2019 or 2018. I think it was 2019. Just due to everything that was going on with the lawsuit with Friday the 13th, which has now been resolved, so hopefully we'll get to see more of this guy in the future of horror, I hope. So, anyway, I think I've all mentioned that Friday the 13th is one of my favorite horror franchises. It's definitely the one that my mom got me into first. And I actually remember, like, before watching the original film first, I actually remember on AMC they actually were airing Friday the 13th this one, Part 7, The New Blood, and it just kind of stuck with me, especially, like, it was the scene where Jason was coming in and put the axe through the blonde girl's head. It was censored, of course, and later to learn that this movie is probably one of the heaviest censored ones of the Friday the 13th franchise, which is a shame, because there's a lot of great deaths that were planned for this one. But, anyway, this is kind of my earliest, so Part 7 has a really, really big part in my life for becoming a Friday the 13th fan and a horror fan in general, was because this was the first film I saw as kind of a kid, not knowing really into Friday the 13th and being introduced in this franchise. But anyway, it's really great to see this packaging. It's the theatrical poster for the original film, which is great. All these Ultimate NECA Ultimate figures do this. They usually use the poster or do some really, really cool art as well. But on Friday the 13th, Jason is back, but this time, someone's waiting. And as y'all know, Tina, who is the main female protagonist, the heroine in the film, she actually has telekinetic powers, and this one is always referenced to as Jason versus Carrie, which I think is really, really great, and I would love to see that. So, you get the top, you get a cool shot of Jason right here from the film. I will also mention, this is my favorite design of Jason, and my ideal design. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. You also get it on the side as well, too, which is really, really great as well. Then you get the back, which shows a lot of production shots of Jason, and I remember when this got announced of how excited I was, because they were producing Friday the 13th figures again, and it was also, this is my favorite version of Jason Voorhees. There is a little read up right here, so I'll get a close-up of that so you can read and pause it if you need to, of course. But you get to see all the accessories he comes with, and a little read up on the below. You also get all the credits as here as well, so you can take a look at the wonderful people who made this figure possible, which I'm really, really happy. And let's get this guy open. And you see, I have opened this guy up, so if things look loose at all, it's because I have already opened it, but here he is, and he looks amazing, and you also get an amazing production shot, too. So, without me gabbering on about more of the box, let's get Jason out of the packaging. We have Part 7 Jason out of the packaging, and also to note that this is the first time within the Friday the 13th franchise that Jason is played by Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder would eventually go on to play Jason the most in the franchise. He played in The New Blood, he played Jason in Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason X, and Jason Goes to Hell. So ultimately 4 films within the franchise, which is pretty impressive. And I gotta say, he's one of my favorite actors, I think, for the post-dead Jason. I really like Richard Booker in the role in Part 3. And also subsequently C.J. Graham in Part 6, but I really like Kane Hodder's performance in Part 7 in particular. I love the moments of when, like, he's about to, before he turns and goes to a direction, he'll turn his head directly that way that he's about to turn, then he'll turn his whole body, which is really cool. He has a whole very unique, and I really love his body language as Jason, because it's very unique and very different in comparison to, like, somebody like Michael Myers. And I even think, like, Richard Booker and everybody, like, Richard Booker is really cool, because it was, like, it's a live Jason, so he isn't like Michael, where Michael's a lot more cerebral. Jason in general is just a shit brick house, and he's just like, will go full force. But anyway, without me gabbing on about talking about the Friday the 13th franchise, also I recreated the part that has stuck in my memory, and that's also the box art for the NES game back in the 1989, which is really cool. So this is Jason Part 7 out of the packaging. I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite Jason figures that NECA has produced. Not to discount any of the other ones, because all of them are incredible figures, but this one, just for me, it just hits, like, it hits a spot. Like, it makes me so happy to have this figure finally, after having no Friday the 13th figures from NECA for so long. It's so cool to see this guy finally get a figure, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. I think it looks great. The tattered like clothes look amazing to signify, of course, this is a corpse Jason, like a dead version of Jason. And one of my favorite things is the back too, because the back of, you see like the spine and everything, like the spinal cord, and it just looks phenomenal. Like, I really love it. But without me gabbering on about any more of the details, this figure comes with a crap ton of accessories, which is a great thing, and I think this is a great reintroduction to NECA, Jason into the NECA horror line just in general. So let's jump into his accessories real quick. And as I said, Jason does come with a lot of accessories, this particular one, and for good reason, because he uses a crap ton of weapons in this movie. So before we jump into any of the weapons itself, let's take a look at this, which I think is so wonderful. Also with the regular head sculpt, we have the Yelling Jason head sculpt, which looks phenomenal. So these actually go into tandem with the mask too, that actually splits apart, because in the movie, Tina actually is actually like restricting Jason with his mask, like trying to crush his head essentially, and it splits open, revealing this non-decayed face, which we didn't really get to see all too ridiculously much in Part 7. We do get to, in Part 6, we do get to see him kind of decayed, but this is a proper decayed face, and this is probably one of my favorite versions of the unmasked Jason in the franchise. You get to see like all the damage he's suffered, like like the head, like the axe right here of where Chris hits him. This is where Tommy Jarvis hits him in Part 7, I believe. Also his fucked up jaw when the boat propeller hits him in the face in Part 6. It's just really cool. I love it. Like, it shows attention to detail with all of the, like, all his battle damage throughout the films itself. As I said too, there is the ultimate mask. There's the mask too that actually splits open, which is really cool. I'm glad NECA included this to recreate that scene essentially, which looks phenomenal. It doesn't stay in all too ridiculously well, which is a little unfortunate, but it does look cool, and look at that. That looks awesome. Like, that's my favorite thing. The split mask looks really great too. Love a lot of the detail on the mask. Probably one of the best masks I think they've done with, because a lot of the mask, I don't know if you've noticed, on a lot of the older Friday the 13th figures, they will have like kind of like seam lines through them. They're really not existent on this mask, which is a good thing. He also comes with some interchangeable hands, so let me show you. He does come with 2 pairs of hands. So the pair of hand he comes with is these kind of grab hands, these kind of like neutral flat hands, which look really good. Really love the look of like kind of decayed flesh, which looks really cool. This kind of like brownish kind of puke, like really pukey kind of color, and also like the black fingernails, which is really good. This is ultimately my favorite design for Jason Voorhees. I really love this design, as I said. It also comes with 2 fisted hands that hold weapons, which is really cool. The same amount of detail is applied to these ones as well, to kind of give that indication that these are corpse hands and he's just a decaying corpse at this point, which is phenomenal. So, he does come with his iconic machete. This is really, really cool. Really, really well done. Great silver paint right here, and along with the black hilt and the silver like buttons throughout. This is actually what I have him posed with the most, which is kind of boring, but like at the same time, like I think it's just so iconic and it looks so good on Jason, like this machete does. It looks really, really cool. It also comes with, I forget what this is. It's like a kind of a oh god, like a post or something, like a thing, like a post you apply in. This is actually the first weapon he uses to use a kill in the movie, which is really, really cool. You got a lot of bloody paint right here, and it looks really, really cool. It's kind of like a rain gutter thing. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I'll probably put, oh, dropped it, but I'll probably put it in the video to say like what it is. I think it is like some kind of like something you have in a house, I'm pretty sure. It also does come with a kitchen knife, which looks really, really good too. This is actually, so I actually checked, this is actually bigger than any of the frickin' knives that Michael Myers comes with, so that's pretty funny to me. Looks pretty good. Has a silver paint, the same silver paint that's on the machete and everything, and a lot of the weapons have this silver paint, and also the brown hilt looks really, really cool. It's actually, you have the one piece entirely, so you have like this one piece right here, and these two side pieces are connected to give it like a better grip. Of course, as you all know, you saw the axe, which looks pretty damn good. A lot of cool, so it has that silver paint, but it also has some dry brushing, like kind of black dry brushing on top of it to make it look like kind of gunmetal-esque. And it looks really, really good. Some blood splatter here and there at the hilt. Looks really, really cool. Kind of like how it varies, and the kind of wooden hilt grip looks really, really awesome. It also has this, which is like, I think a not a wood chipper, like something kind of like to cut down trees normally. I actually don't know what the hell this is. It's like, there's a lot of demonic weapons that Jason uses in this one, which we'll continuously get to. But really, really cool. It's that kind of brown, so in the middle is the brown kind of gunmetal in the middle. It looks like gunmetal at least, and you got the silver all around it, which looks really, really cool with the little hilt. This actually looks like a yard like tool you would use if you were in the garden or whatever, which looks really, really good. I really love the amount of detail on this. And also, he comes with the scythe too, which is really, really cool. It's actually kind of bent. Like this particular one is bent, that it goes over, which is really, really cool. Has that silver detailing on it as well. Same kind of brown with the brown hilt as well, along with some black dry brushing throughout the hilt to make it like look like wood, which looks really, really good. And his main weapon, this demonic frickin' weed whacker thing with a saw blade at the end of it. I don't know who like has this just laying around. Like, do you have weeds that bad you have to use like a saw? Either way, it's one of the most iconic moments in the film. Unfortunately, it is, as I said, Friday the 13th Part 7 is neutered in a lot of the ways with the gore, just because of the MPA, and also generally the state of horror within the 80s. The MPA just didn't want to deal with horror, and it's just like anything they saw too bloody and violent, they cut it, which is unfortunate. And a lot of the scenes are lost. There are rough like edits of them, like rough footage, but like, and to kind of see what the potential of Friday the 13th Part 7 would have been. But this is really, really cool. It's really, really well done. Very unique. You got all these, like you got silver, pretty much the silver with the dry brushing on top. The black dry brushing looks really, really good. Then the red paint as well, kind of similar to the one, or orange paint, kind of. Orange-red, red-orange, I'm going to say. Then you got the silver right there. A lot of dry brushing on it, too. Silver throughout, black. Yeah, it just looks incredible. Like, this is so cool, and I'm glad that they included this, because it is one of the most questionable, over-the-top weapons, I think, in the Friday the 13th franchise, just in general. And that's saying a lot for the Friday the 13th in general, because there was a corkscrew was getting used. But that was the Friday the 13th franchise as a whole. They were trying to one-up everybody on kills, which is really, really cool. And that's what the franchise kind of became about. You only really cared about Jason's body count. So yeah, those are all the accessories, some kick-ass accessories. I think this is a great way to jump back into the Friday the 13th franchise for NECA, and they went all out with this figure, and I'm really glad that they did. So, let's jump into Jason Voorhees himself. Right, and here we have Jason Voorhees, and man, oh man, I gotta say, I love this figure. All the mounted details on this figure are absolutely incredible. So the mask, as you can know, you can remove the mask and you get to see the exposed face, which looks really, really great, wonderful. Same kind of design and treatment as the alternate face sculpt, which looks really, really cool. He does come with this chain, which is movable. I do kind of wish it was a little bit longer, maybe like add like maybe 2 more things, but maybe I'm remembering the movie wrong. It's been a while. But I do gotta say, this looks absolutely wonderful. Like this tethered cloth, like the cloth. So this is just a continuation of what Jason was. He was under the water after part 6 for so long. The clothes and body started to decay, and he eventually is brought back by Tina, who tries to bring back her dad, of course. Who somehow they built a house on Crystal Lake, and nobody told him about Jason or anybody, like, to say Jason's down there. So, but either way, hindsight's 2020 in Crystal Lake, in the Crystal Lake area. So that definitely makes sense of New Jersey. But like once again, the tethered cloak, like the clothing looks phenomenal. The sculpting itself with like the back is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love this figure. It looks super, super cool. Like, I love, and also it's really, really cool because it is very much like kind of the same material that the Michael Myers' jumpsuits are made out of, and even Roy's jumpsuit, that kind of exact same material, which is really, really cool. Really great. Like, you get the legs too, like you get to see frickin' kneecaps, which, that's frickin' phenomenal. Also very pliable, very articulated, and can move in a lot of directions, which I think is wonderful. The articulation on this guy is probably one of the best of the Friday the 13th figures, other than Roy, I think. Roy is the only one that, I think, the only other figure within the line, other than this guy, that has the double jointed elbows. Also, another thing I want to say, the mask looks absolutely phenomenal. Once again, it is the same mask, technically, from part 7. The bro propeller juts his mouth out like that, so it like fucks his face up really, really good. And also just the mask in general, like, it's like kind of this kind of plastic, kind of not plastic, but kind of a gray, like a lighter gray kind of color. Then you got like dry brushing throughout, like kind of brown dry brushing with black dry brushing here and there, and some scraps around, and the red like stripe looks really, really good. The detail on this figure is fucking phenomenal. Like, I love the look on this figure. Sorry for the language, everybody, but like, it's just so, like, I'm so happy to have this figure in the collection finally. One of my, as I said, one of my favorite Jason designs. So yeah, those are all the details I think for Jason. Really, really cool. Like, also with like the cloak, another thing I wanted to say, like, it is this green color, but you do get like hints of like kind of tan kind of paint throughout to make it look old and dirty. I will say also, like, if you dip, like, usually what I do with all my NECA figures is I dip them in hot water and let them set for a bit, but as soon as you take this guy out of hot water, like, he looks absolutely amazing. He looks like how he does when he comes out of the lake in the movie at the beginning of the film. It looks freaking incredible. So with that out of the way, let's get into the articulation for Jason Voorhees. So Jason can look up quite a bit. He can look up that far and he can look down that far. The head is on a ball joint. He can move side to side, back and forth. You know, the whole gist. It is a little hindered due to the chain, but that's kind of okay, just because it does make sense. His arms jut out about that far. Ooh. They don't jut out as far, but that's kind of okay. And it's also just maybe because I have my figure right now. Is he does have, they don't really, there's no swivel, arm swivel. He does have double jointed elbows, which is really, really awesome. I'm really glad. This is the only, as I said, the only second Jason figure that has double jointed elbows. His wrist, like hands are on a wrist, so they can move up and down. They can rotate all around, which is really, really cool. Same thing with this hand. He has an ab crunch, which is really, really cool. He goes that far and can move back and like side to side because of the like this, where the stomach area is, you can actually move it side to side, which is really, really cool. Legs go out that far, and they have double jointed, they have it's a single jointed elbow, but I do notice a thing within the figure itself is that there is actually the second joint, so these are possibly double jointed elbows, but just due to, knees, but just due to the kind of how the fabric is and everything, it's really hard to do that, like pose at all. So, and he does have ankle pivot, and he can move up, down, and a beautiful ankle pivot, which is really, really nice. So the articulation on this figure is really, really great. A lot of the articulation you expect from a NECA figure of this scale and just look. So with that out of the way, let's jump into some size comparisons and see what he scales with. And here we have Jason compared to some other figures from different companies. Of course, we have the Mattel Amber Collection John Hammond, the Wicked Cool Toys Noble 6, the Spawn, McFarlane Toys Gunslinger Spawn, which the series just came out this week. This previous week, so I'm very excited to read that. Of course, we got Moon Knight, of course, and the new, the Gaming Grades Cal Kestis that's a GameStop exclusive. So he's about roughly a he's a 7-inch figure. He's a little shorter than the Spawn figure, even though these new Spawn figures are really, really big. He's roughly on par, with a normal size NECA figure. Jason compared to some other icons of the 80s slasher genre, or just 80s horror in general. Of course, we have Pinhead, aka the Hellpriest from Hellraiser. We have Freddy Krueger himself from Nightmare on Elm Street. We have Chucky from Child's Play, Michael from Halloween 2, Leatherface from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know it came out in 1975, but I figured I'd include it just because he's one of the big boys of the slasher genre. And of course, Ash Williams from Evil Dead. So yeah, this is really awesome to see all these kind of iconic slasher and slash hero, at least with Ash, of the 80s and the 70s. It's really, really cool to see all these figures and all these guys together, especially these three, Jason, Michael, and Freddy, because they are technically, for me, they were my first exposure into the horror genre with the slasher genre, and I really, really love having all three of these guys next to each other. Before we get to our final size comparison, here he is next to some of my favorite Jasons. Of course, we have the NES Jason, the Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason, Jason Lives, of course, Friday the 13th Part 3, and the remake. So it is really cool to see that I'm able to have all my favorite designs. I really love that about these figures. And for one final little comparison, here is Jason next to all the figures we've viewed for this October, this Freaky Figure Review Fridays, and Sunday, of course, with the bonus episode being Jason. And I gotta say, while it is a lot of it is NECA, but it is really, really cool to have all these guys next to each other. All of them so great, are great figures from different eras of horror and sci-fi. Of course, you've got Kong down here from he is currently the most modern of all these guys right now. You've got the classic blockbusters with Jaws and Quint. You've got the the VHS masters of Puppet Master of Blade, Torch, Tunneler, and Pinhead. Of course, you've got the classic classic Universal monsters with Frankenstein, and of course, you got the 80s classics with Evil Dead 2 Ash and Jason Voorhees. I have Jason with his demonic weed whacker, which is incredible to have. I never thought I would see this in figure form eventually, which is crazy to think. NECA did do and the only reason, if people are going to ask why I didn't do a comparison to the Cult Classic Part 7 Jason, it's because I don't have that one. I do have the Mezco, big 12-inch one, but I don't think that one fit on the screen, so either way, so my final thoughts on this Jason Voorhees figure, I think it's great. I think it's a great return to the Friday the 13th franchise for NECA. I think they did a really, really good job with the articulation, the paint detailing, and just everything about the figure looks phenomenal. It's a great update. For those of you who are wondering if you have the original Cult Classic one from NECA way back in the day, I definitely suggest pick this guy up. It's brand new. It's got great articulation. The paint detail looks amazing on it. Just everything, the corpse, everything, the interchangeable head sculpts. You're getting a lot, when I think of NECA Ultimate figures, this is exactly what I think of a crap ton of accessories, either it would be weapons, interchangeable head sculpts, or anything. This is an Ultimate figure, and I love that. It's, as I said, probably one of my favorite Jason designs, so I am a little biased towards it, because I love the design just so much, and I like that film in particular, even though it, the sensory, of the kills and whatever can neuter it, but you know what, I still enjoy it. I love it. And Kane Hodder's stunt work in that movie is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, that is the Freaky Sunday review, the Halloween special today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I knew I kind of wanted to do the Kong review and I wanted to do this guy, but I was thinking of which one to do, so I just figured, hey, why not have a special Sunday episode featuring this guy, which I figured hopefully a lot of you liked. I know it isn't like our last year's Halloween special, but you know, I figured I would do something a little fun. I always love October and Halloween. I hope you all are having a great one, by the way, since it is today. I'll be working, but for a little bit today. But you know what? That's gonna be okay, because I am going to be dressing up as Jason, not as this one, but more of a friendly Jason with a Camp Crystal Lake face mask and a hat. So you know, there's always that. So, but yeah, overall thoughts. Definitely suggest pick this figure up. It's phenomenal. And thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed this Halloween special that I did. Make sure to hit like and subscribe so you can get notified when we upload What's in the Box Wednesday, Mythical Out Monday, and Figure Review Fridays, which will just go back to regular Figure Review Fridays, of course. But you'll see, let's be real here. You're going to see a lot more horror stuff. It's one of my favorite genres, and I love all the stuff that Neca does. So yeah, make sure to check us out on Instagram and Mercari, and also check me out on Instagram. I was doing my 31 days of Halloween. That will be finished up today, and I really love doing the toy photography. I think I've really evolved as a toy photographer over the past year during the pandemic, so I'm really glad, and I think I did a really good job this year. And I hope you guys enjoyed this whole month of freaky figure reviews. Hopefully you liked them. I know I did. I love doing this, and I love filming these reviews. So yeah, I appreciate your guys' support in every way. Both me and Jax Pop Guy do. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a safe and wonderful Halloween. And until next year, stay spooky, y'all. See ya.